welcome back to my YouTube channel, Cord Cutting in Sports. And this video is just going to be basically a video version of the College Football Guide to Cord Cutting that I write and update every year starting back in 2017. So there is a web page version of this, there is a PDF version of this. You can get those links in the description below. But this is just a video version of it as well. So first, I just want to talk about what's new in 2022 for this upcoming season. Then I'll talk about some of the main, channels that air college football games. I'll then just run through the media rights for the different conferences. Then I'm going to talk about ways you can watch games for free, no cost. After that, I'll get into the different paid streaming services that you see the logos for on the screen now. After that, I just want to talk about some things to know or be aware of, and then go through some of the kind of cord cutting resource documents that I have, available on my website or available on the written version of this guide. Then I'm going to just talk about bowl games. After that, I'll talk about my rankings of the different paid streaming services. And then lastly, just a brief mention about how to download and save college football games to your computer, since that's sort of tied in with this as well. Okay, so what's new for the 2022 season? So these are things that have all happened mainly in like the past 6 to 8 months. So if you had a subscription last fall and you canceled it, sometime during bowl season or at the end of bowl season, and now you're looking to renew, these are all things that have changed or will have changed within the next week to 2 weeks. So first of all, FuboTV got rid of its cheapest plan, which was called the starter plan. It was $65 a month. So the cheapest plan now is $70 a month. And they also moved all of their 4K content to the elite plan and above. Previously, all the plans had access to 4K content for free, at no extra cost. But for any new subscribers, you now must be on the elite plan or higher. Those that were on the Pro plan and had 4K content for free will be grandfathered in, though. Hulu Live updated its DVR by adding the enhanced DVR features to all of its plans. So that means they increased basically the number of hours available and got rid of the ridiculous, restrictions on fast forwarding through some of the recorded programs. Also, one thing to be aware of is they do technically have a plan without Disney Plus and ESPN Plus access, and it's only $1 a month cheaper than the regular Hulu Live plan. But just be aware of that. DIRECTV Stream improved its DVR by upgrading it to unlimited space for all customers, both new and existing. Vidgo introduced a second plan called the Premium Plan. This one has DVR service as part of it. However, it's more expensive than the Plus plan, which also has seen a price increase. It went from $55 a month up to $60 a month. ESPN Plus also has an upcoming price increase scheduled to take effect on August 23rd, raising its monthly price by $3 a month, basically from $7 to $10, and its annual price by $30 per year, basically from $70 to $100 for a year. And just the last thing, Oklahoma will now be featured on ESPN Plus, similar to every other Big 12 school except for Texas, of course. And what that means is just that they will not have a pay-per-view game anymore. Instead, that game that was on pay-per-view will now just be on ESPN Plus. All right. So just to briefly review, on the screen you should see the main college football channels that air games. So you obviously have your Disney channels. This is your ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, ESPN News, and you watch them in the ESPN app or on the Watch ESPN website. Then you have your Fox channels, which are basically Fox, FS1, FS2, and those you can watch in the Fox Sports app. For CBS, there's obviously Broadcast Network CBS, and there's also CBS Sports Network. You can watch those in the CBS Sports app. However, it is mobile only for at least the main OTA CBS broadcast network channel. NBC now just has NBC. It doesn't have, there's no more NBC Sports Network, but broadcast NBC can be watched in the NBC Sports app. Then you also have conference networks like BTN, which Big Ten Network, you can watch in the Fox Sports app. ACC Network, SEC Network, Longhorn Network can all be viewed in the ESPN app, and then the Pac-12 Network can also be watched in the Pac-12 Now app. There's also Stadium, which will air some games coming up this semester as well. It's an OTA, kind of over-the-air channel that you can pick up, but it can also be viewed within the Stadium app. Then you also have regional sports networks, things like Bally Sports, those various channels that used to be known as Fox Sports. You have AT&T Sportsnet. There's also other kind of one-off things like Masson, Mid-Atlantic Sports Network, Nesson. There's Root Sports Northwest, so on and so forth. And then lastly, you have essentially online-only streaming channels. So this would include ESPN3, ESPN Plus, a thing called ACC Network Extra, and also SEC Network Plus. So those are online only. Those you have to view basically within the app or on the website. Okay, so now let's just briefly look at the media rights by the different conferences. First, we'll start off with the Power 5, conferences. So you can see on the screen basically all the different, tiers that correspond to the different conferences. Again, these are for 2022. Obviously, in 2023, things are going to change because you probably heard about the media rights deal the Big Ten, just announced last week, where they're not going to be on Fox and CBS and NBC. But again, this is just for this year, 2022. So you can see basically, the ACC is pretty much on all ESPN related channels, except they also have some games on RSNs as well, and those obviously vary by whatever market you're in. The Big 12 is split between ESPN and Fox, and of course Texas will have a game on Longhorn Network, and there will also be some games on ESPN Plus. The SEC still has the CBS deal for 2 more years, so they'll have some games on CBS, but then most of the other ones will be on ESPN related channels, and they will also have some games on ESPN Plus, although those are not exclusive to ESPN Plus, which I'll talk about later. Big Ten is currently again split between ESPN and Fox, and of course they have Big Ten Network as well. And the Pac-12 also split between ESPN and Fox, and they have their games on, of course, Pac-12 Network, their conference affiliated network. And then you can see the conference championship game, channels listed there as well. Now for Notre Dame, all 7 home games this year will air on Peacock Premium, and 6 of those will also air on NBC, the broadcast network. So what that means is there's one game, and it's the UNLV game, which will be exclusive to Peacock and will only air on Peacock. So Peacock will air all the games. NBC will air 6 of them. Therefore, there's one game that will be Peacock only. Now, for the group of 5 teams, you should be able to see the chart on the screen for each of the conferences. So you basically have, the AAC and Conference USA and the MAC are essentially kind of split between ESPN and also CBS Sports Network, and having their games on there, whereas the Mountain West Conference is going to be split between Fox and CBS and the various channels associated with those. There's also, you can see a couple conferences that will be on Stadium, and pretty much of the group of 5, all the conferences except the Mountain West Conference will be on ESPN Plus, and obviously that's basically because Mountain West doesn't have a deal with ESPN at all, so they wouldn't be on ESPN Plus. Now, for BYU, basically ESPN has the right for selection to any of their, all of their home games. Obviously, their away games would be, chosen by whoever the TV partner is for the team they're playing at. So you'll see a fair number of BYU games on ESPN channels. And also BYU TV typically airs one BYU home game per year, and that channel is currently not available on any streaming service out there. One other thing just to be aware of, or just to mention, there have been some instances where some schools, MAC and also Sunbelt schools, have posted about games being broadcast on NFL Network. There was Bowling Green game, which was listed on their website as showing the TV broadcast channels NFL Network a couple weeks ago, but that has since disappeared. And also, Eastern Michigan put out a tweet last week about some games being sublicensed from ESPN to NFL Network, and like their game at Louisiana Lafayette was going to be on NFL Network, but they deleted the tweet and they also deleted the accompanying post. So no idea if that's actually going to happen or not. Matt Sars Sports, his name's Matt Sars on Twitter. He was the person that noticed it, noticed both of these, um, postings or whatever. So follow him. He's a good follow on Twitter when it comes to broadcast network information. Okay, so now let's talk about the free ways that you can watch college football games. So obviously, the first way to do it is to get an antenna, hook it up, and connect it to your TV or to multiple TVs, possibly. So you can watch, obviously, ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, Stadium as well if it's in your market. All of these can be viewed, OTA, over the air, with an antenna. Now, it depends on where you live, of course, relative to the broadcast towers. So there are obviously people out there who live in rural areas or behind a mountain or hill of some sort who cannot receive um, channels via an antenna. So I understand that that's not going to be a solution for everyone. There's also people that just live too far away from the towers to pick up a decent signal, or they might live in an apartment building or something, or a condo where it's just facing the wrong direction, away from the towers, and they don't have anywhere that they can get to put an antenna or be facing the correct direction. So antenna is a great option if it works for you. Another way you can watch games for free is on ESPN3. And the reason I call this free is because ESPN3 access is included with many internet service provider subscriptions. So if you have an internet subscription with Comcast or Cox or with BreezeLine, or I'm trying to think of what the other big one, or Charter, or so on, Verizon, AT&T, so whatever. They include ESPN3 access with those internet subscriptions. And all of the ABC games are basically streamed online via ESPN3. So if you want to watch an ABC game in the ESPN app, you technically just need ESPN3 access, which again would typically come from your internet service provider. Now, a lot of the paid streaming services, which I'm going to talk about, obviously include ESPN3 access as well. But the point is that most people will be able to watch ESPN3 games with just their internet service subscription. Also, the ACC Regional Sports Network games are aired via ESPN3 for those that are out of market. So what that means is if you live in an area where there is a regional sports network that is airing the game, like maybe Bally Sports Southeast is airing the game, or Bally Sports Florida, or Bally Sports Sun, then basically you're supposed to watch the game on that RSN channel. If you go to ESPN's website and you try to watch the game there, it's basically going to give you a message that the event is blacked out in your area. However, if you live in an area where there is not an RSN airing the game, then you can just watch those ACC RSN games via ESPN3. And then in addition to that, of course, there's other games that are just ESPN3 exclusive. These are primarily from the Group of Five conferences, but there are other, ESPN3 games that you can watch as well. Also, CBS airs its games for free on its website and its mobile app. So that includes not only the SEC games, but the other handful of Mountain West Conference games, or I guess that would pretty much be it. Those are the two main conferences they're aligned with right now. So you go on a desktop computer, you go to its website, or it only works on the the mobile app, meaning on phones and tablets. It does not work. You cannot watch like a CBS game on the CBS Sports, or I guess it's called CBS Sports HQ app on a Roku, Fire TV, so on and so forth. Same thing is true for Stadium as well. You can generally watch its games on its website and via the Stadium mobile app. Now let's take a look at the various paid streaming services that are out there to watch college football. The first one we're going to talk about is Sling TV. It's also the oldest of all the services. It has two basic plans, orange and blue. They're each $35 a month. If you combine them and get them both, the total price is $50 a month. Then it also has a Sports Extra add-on. It's $11 a month for the orange, $11 a month for the blue. But if you subscribe to both blue and orange, then you essentially get both add-ons for a total price of $15. So in other words, orange and a sports add-on is $46 a month. Blue and the sports add-on, Sports Extra is $46 a month. Orange and blue and the sports add-on is a total of $65 per month. The DVR is relatively small. It only includes 50 hours for free, but you can pay to upgrade that to 200 hours for an extra $5 a month. The one main downside with Sling is that it only allows one stream on all of the orange package channels, which include the ESPN channels. So that means ESPN, ESPN2, ACC Network, SEC Network, ESPNU, so on and so forth. You can only have one simultaneous stream of all those channels, and they have it set up such that these restrictions work in the ESPN app as well. A lot of the other services, might only allow 2 or 3 simultaneous streams, but they do not count streams from the ESPN app. That is not the case for Sling. Sling only allows you to watch one stream of ESPN channels, whether it's in the Sling app or the Watch ESPN app. You do get 3 simultaneous streams on all the blue channels. It has very few broadcast networks. It only has Fox and NBC in a limited number of markets. Doesn't carry any ABC or CBS. And for the Pac-12 network, just be aware, it has the 6 regional feeds only. It does not include the national channel, which is a little strange, but it is one of the few providers that does carry Pac-12 network. Now, my opinion on Sling TV, it's a cheaper option if you really don't need network channels, if you can get them via an antenna. But, like I said, the DVR is relatively small, and the only one simultaneous stream on all ESPN channels is basically unwatchable if you're a person that, wants to watch multiple games at once. I would say it's best for, SEC or Pac-12 fans, also for Texas fans because it carries Longhorn Network, and like I said, those who can get OTA network stations via an antenna. Fans that Sling would be worst for would be those who cannot get, the over-the-air stations via antenna. Fans who want to record and rewatch many hours of games because again the DVR is relatively small, and also fans of the Mountain West Conference and Conference USA because it does not carry CBS Sports Network, which will be airing games from both of those conferences. Next, I'd like to talk about YouTube TV. So YouTube TV has just one base plan, $65 a month. You can see all the channels that it includes on the screen there in front of you. It also has a Sports Plus add-on for $11 a month. In terms of college football viewing, the only channel in the Sports Plus add-on that is relevant is Stadium. But obviously the Sports Plus add-on has NFL Network Red Zone as well. It also has an add-on to view events in 4K and to have unlimited streams on your home network for $20 a month. The reason I have a question mark there is because It was originally announced at $20 a month, but in the beginning, some people got a discounted rate of only $10 a month, and the price is not actually listed on their website. Even if you go into the support articles, you have to, basically be an actual member and go to try to add the, um, basically add this add-on to the base package to see what the actual cost is going to be. The DVR has an unlimited amount of space, but you can only keep events for 9 months, and it does include 3 simultaneous streams, just on its regular base plan. YouTube TV is an excellent choice because it pretty much has like the cheapest base price now with all of your broadcast network channels, and it also has an unlimited DVR in terms of size or number of hours. It does not have Pac-12 network. It does not have Longhorn network. Those are the 2 college football related channels that it is missing. YouTube TV is best for general fans, just general college football fans. Fans who want to record many games, many hours of college football. Those who want to be able to watch more than 3 games at once, or have more than 3 simultaneous streams at once, albeit for an extra cost. And also those who want to watch content in 4K, although there's not much of that, that airs in college football. I would say that YouTube TV is the worst for Texas fans and Pac-12 fans, only because it does not carry Longhorn Network and it does not carry the Pac-12 network. But almost every other type of fan, it's an excellent choice for. Next, let's talk about Hulu with live TV. So it has its main base plan, which is $70 a month. That includes access to Disney Plus. Now it includes the Disney Plus ads version, which is just recently announced. Previously, it was Disney Plus with no ads because there was no Disney Plus with ads tier. But now for $70 a month, you get the Hulu live channels plus Disney Plus with ads, and also ESPN Plus as well. However, there is also a $69 a month plan, which only includes the live TV component and does not include Disney Plus or ESPN Plus. It's only $1 cheaper, but if you already get those other services, through some other method, or you have no interest in, Disney Plus or ESPN Plus, then you can save $1 plus maybe a little bit of tax as well, going with that cheaper plan. It also has a sports add-on for $10 a month, but there are no college football related channels available in it. Again, the main thing is the NFL Network Red Zone. Its DVR was upgraded, as I mentioned previously, so it now offers unlimited space. However, the recordings can only be kept for 9 months, similar to YouTube TV. It only allows 2 simultaneous streams, which is on the lower end compared to most of the other services. However, it does have an unlimited screens add-on where you can basically view as many streams as you want on your home network only. And that costs just an extra $10 a month. The channels you can see that it offers are on the screen there, very similar to what YouTube TV offers in its base package. Now, my opinion about Hulu with live TV. So it's an excellent choice if you want Disney Plus and or ESPN Plus, or the regular version of Hulu as well. If you already subscribe to that or consider subscribing to that, because those are all included in that base price. Also, the DVR, as I mentioned, was upgraded, so it's now much better, but it appears you still cannot fast forward through ads on live TV or live events. What I mean by that is, say there's a game that starts at noon, and you, you start at watching that game at like 1:15 because you had something going on, you were busy. So then when you go to start watching it at 1:15, what you could do, is if you're recording the game, you could go ahead and you could fast forward through the commercial breaks. You could fast forward, between plays, timeouts, or whatever, so on, to eventually, ideally catch up to real time, to where the game is live. But It doesn't appear that you are able to do that, although I have not tested that myself yet because I don't have a current subscription to Hulu Live. Hulu Live is going to be best for, again, just general college football fans, or also those who also, subscribe to Disney Plus or ESPN Plus, since they're included. Again, with the unlimited DVR, fans that want to record, many hours of college football, and again, fans who want the ability to watch, more than 3 games at once, albeit for an extra fee, with their unlimited screens add-on. The worst people that Hulu Live would apply to, I'd say, again, would be Texas fans because there's no Longhorn Network, Pac-12 fans because there's no Pac-12 Network, and also fans who are in the situation I just described where you want to like DVR live games but start them late and then catch up in real time. Next, let's talk about FuboTV. So there are currently now 2 main base plans for Fubo TV. You have Pro, which is the cheapest one at $70 a month. Then there's also Elite, which is $80 a month. Elite includes the 4K content. Again, as I mentioned previously, the only people in Pro that would have 4K content were those that were previous subscribers and were basically grandfathered in. Also, please note that it charges an RSN fee of $6 per month in certain markets. So if it carries an RSN, Regional Sports Network, in your market, you get charged an extra $6 a month, whether you want to watch that RSN or not. It has a bunch of different add-ons. So there's the extra add-on, which is $8 a month, but all those channels are basically included in the Elite plan. There's also a Sports Lite add-on, which is $10 a month, which basically kind of replicates most of the things that are in the extra add-on. Then there's also Sports Plus. Sports Plus is the one that includes NFL Network Red Zone, but again, this is focusing on college football. You can see on the screen right now the various channels that are in the Pro plan, and also in the Extra or the Sports Plus add-ons. So again, the difference between, say, Elite and Pro is that Elite basically includes the extra add-on. So the college football related channels that you see in the extra add-on listed there would be found in Elite. Otherwise, there's no difference, between them. The DVR is currently only 1,000 hours, so it's not unlimited like some of the other providers, but its base plans do provide 10 simultaneous streams at home, which is a lot more than, the YouTube TV or Hulu Live. One other thing to be aware of, though, is that the ACC network and SEC network are only included in the Pro plan for in-market states. So basically the states that are considered in-market for the SEC conference and the ACC conference are the states which have those, either of those networks included in Pro. Otherwise, you need to basically buy the extra add-on or just sign up for the Elite plan in order to guarantee you get those channels. Also, the thing that's a little weird is for the Pac-12 network, the national feed is included in the extra add-on, but if you want the 6 regional feeds as well, then you have to get the Sports Plus add-on. Now, for FuboTV, it has a similar price point for its base plans to like Hulu Live or YouTube TV, but the problem is the Pro plan does not include ESPNU, it does not include ESPN News, and depending on where you live, it may not include ACC Network or SEC Network. However, it does carry Pac-12 Network, which not all services do, and it offers 10 streams at no extra cost. But like I said, for 4K content now, you cannot sign up for the cheapest plan. You have to go Elite or above. Now, who is this best for? I mean, general college football fans, because it pretty much has every every college football related channel except for Longhorn Network. It's good for Pac-12 fans. Again, those who want to watch more than 3 games at once, because again, it allows up to 10 simultaneous streams, and also those who want to watch 4K content, because there's only a handful of providers that offer it. Now, I would say that this is worst for Texas fans because, again, there's no Longhorn Network, and also ACC or SEC fans who are out of market because you will have to pay up basically to go to the next, highest level, like, to get the ACC network or, and or the SEC network. The other thing too, which I didn't list here but probably should have, is that if you're in a market that again has an RSN regional sports network, when you add on the cost of that, plus maybe having to go to the elite plan, or having to buy the extra add-on or the Sports Plus add-on, the price for FuboTV can get a little more expensive than compared to the other services that are out there. Next, we'll go ahead and talk about DIRECTV Stream. So this is the service that was originally known as DIRECTV Now, and then changed its name to AT&T TV, and has now since changed its name back to DIRECTV Stream. So there are a total of 4 base plans. Entertainment is the cheapest at $70 a month. Choice is the next most expensive at $90 a month, and then there's Ultimate and Premier. The DVR for DirecTV Stream has an unlimited amount of space. However, again, recordings can only be kept for 9 months, which is very similar to a lot of the other services. However, it does allow up to 20 simultaneous streams on your home network. You can see the channels that are offered for each of the different packages there. And the thing is, although entertainment has a base price, which is very similar to, say, Hulu Live or FuboTV or YouTube TV, you can see the number of channels it carries pales in comparison to those. And even, to get, say, CBS Sports Network and Fox Sports 2, you have to go up to the Ultimate package at over $100 a month. So my opinion on DirecTV Stream, basically for its packages, it carries far fewer channels than the other comparable packages that are out there. Choice, for example, $90 a month is at least $20 more than every other service, but doesn't carry as many channels as most of them do. It does have regional sports networks in pretty much every market around the country, but it does not have Pac-12 network, does not have Longhorn Network. So overall, I would say that DirecTV Stream would be the best for ACC fans because it'll carry the local RSN in your area, which could be airing games with the ACC teams. Those who need the regional sports networks for other sports, baseball, basketball, hockey. Or again, fans who want to watch more than 3 games at once because it does allow up to 20 simultaneous streams. Who is DirecTV Stream the worst for? Well, again, Pac-12 fans, Texas fans, and I would say just most fans in general, just because of the price and the lack of channels, for the different packages. Next, we'll talk about Vidgo. Vidgo is a relatively new entrant to the streaming market and also not that well known. So there are 2 base plans that it offers now. There's the Plus plan, which is $60 a month, and there's Premium, which is $80 a month. The DVR is very, very minimal. It's only 20 hours, and you can only keep recordings for 9 months. So the DVR is included with the Premium plan, but they're also advertising on their website that those that sign up for Plus as new subscribers would get access to DVR for the first 90 days of their subscription. You can see all the channels listed there on the screen. It does offer most of the college football related channels except for CBS Sports Network, and also it doesn't have any regional sports networks. It does have 3 simultaneous streams. For Pac-12 Network, it does include the national feed and all 6 regional feeds. And one thing to be aware of is for ABC and Fox, which are the 2 broadcast networks it carries, it does not carry the local channel in all markets, but it does have national feeds that it carries. So even if it doesn't have your local ABC or Fox, there will be a national feed that you can use to watch games on those channels. My opinion about Vidgo. So it's the absolute cheapest plan out there to get all your major college football channels. Like again, except for CBS Sports Network. It's something I've used for the past, basically the past 2 college football seasons. However, if you want a DVR, unless you're a new subscriber, you're going to have to use the more expensive plan. It doesn't have all 4 broadcast networks, which could be an issue for some people. And just in general, the service is quite buggy. I mean, I haven't used it since January, so maybe it's improved since then, but I doubt it. The last 2 college football seasons, again, it was very buggy in terms of like stream stops playing or cuts out, or you have to refresh, the app or quit the app and restart the app and so on. So just be aware of that. I would say it's the best for, obviously Pac-12 fans, Texas fans, because it does have Longhorn Network, or also fans who are looking to save money just because for $60 a month you can get, again, pretty much all the major college football channels except for CBS Sports Network. It would be worst for fans who cannot get local channels via an antenna since there is no CBS and no NBC. Fans who need a DVR or even want a much larger DVR than only 20 hours. And again, Mountain West Conference or Conference USA fans since there is no CBS Sports Network. Now I'll just briefly talk about ESPN Plus. So the base plan for ESPN Plus is going up in price to $10 a month or $100 per year. That's going to take effect on August 23rd. You can have up to 5 simultaneous streams running, playing of ESPN Plus events. This year it's going to carry games from most of the Group of 5 conferences, so like the AAC, Conference USA, the Sun Belt. Also going to carry games from the Big 12 and the SEC as well. The Big 12 conference games that are aired on it are exclusive to ESPN Plus, but be aware the SEC games are not. They can also be viewed via SEC Network Plus, which is basically like an online streaming access channel that you get if you have a subscription to a service which offers SEC Network. So the point is, there are SEC games on ESPN Plus, but you don't need ESPN Plus to view them. If you have a subscription to a service which includes SEC Network, then you can authenticate and sign in with your TV provider info, and you can access those games via SEC Network Plus in the ESPN app or ESPN website. So ESPN Plus is best for obviously hardcore college football fans who want to watch as many games as possible, and fans of those 5 conferences that I've got listed on the screen. And who is it worst for? Well, I mean, pretty much everyone else. If you're not, really interested in those specific conferences, then, you can pretty much, just ignore it and find your games on the, the main college football channels. A couple things to know just real quick. The first thing is local coverage issues. So sometimes there's situations that happen where a game is supposed to be broadcast on a specific channel, and I'm talking about usually a network channel, not a cable channel, but a network channel. But it ends up getting bumped to a different channel because there's some other event that network channel, that your local Fox or your local CBS or ABC ends up carrying. And if you subscribe to a streaming service, that service might not carry that specific channel, and then you might have some difficulty watching that event. So what I mean is, like, maybe your local ABC bumps a coverage of the 12 o'clock game or the 3:30 game due to either a national story, or maybe it's even a local story, or some type of other event, whatever that it chooses to air. And maybe they move it to a sub-channel. They have a sub-channel, maybe like My TV or This TV. If your service doesn't carry My TV or This TV, then the only way really for you to watch that game is basically via the app of the specific channel it's airing on. So in this case, you just go to the ESPN app and you have to watch it there instead of watching it through YouTube TV or Hulu Live or whatever service you have. So that's just something to be aware of. The reason I mention that is because cable providers usually carry a lot more of these like sub-channels than streaming services do. Another thing to be aware of too are overflow channels. So a lot of conference networks, like especially BTN and SEC Network, will often have multiple games airing at the same time. So when that happens, they use overflow channels in order to, view all the different games. However, not all of these services carry all of the overflow channels. So if that's the case, in other words, if you go to your guide and there's only one BTN listed there or one SEC network, thing listed there, then you're just going to have to go to the channel app again to watch the game. So you have to go to the Fox Sports app for BTN or the ESPN app for SEC network. Now, just be aware that you want to check this once it's time for those games to actually air. You're not necessarily going to see like 4 BTNs listed or 2 or 3 SEC networks listed, today if you went and checked it because, there's no games being played for, a couple, less than a week, but realistically for a couple weeks where there would be multiple ones at the same time. Another thing to be aware of too is that a lot of times games run late and therefore they overlap into the start of the next game on the same channel. And usually when that happens, the later starting game will be moved to a different channel until the earlier starting game finishes. So if you're talking about ESPN channels, a lot of times what happens is a game's supposed to be on ESPN or ESPN2, but the early game runs late, so then they end up moving the game maybe you want to watch that's supposed to start at 3:30 or 7 o'clock to ESPNU or ESPN News. Now the problem with this is if for some reason you have a subscription to a service which doesn't include those, ESPNU or ESPN News, you might not be able to watch the start of the game you want to see, until the earlier game ends and the game you want to watch gets moved back. So that's just one thing to be aware of as well. You might think, oh, I don't need ESPNU or ESPN News because my team never plays on those channels, but there's always a possibility that they could get just moved there temporarily for some small period of time. Then the last thing also to be aware of is away games. So the TV partner of whatever team is the home team, so that means either whoever's hosting the game, obviously, or if it's a neutral site, one of the teams is designated as the home team, will determine, which channel is airing the game. So one thing you need to be aware of is that, for any of if there's a specific team you're looking to follow, any of their away games, could be on a network that in general you might not think about needing to watch because, they're not, that network might, not air games from a conference that you are typically interested in. So some examples of this might be, you have a favorite team who's typically on ESPN channels or the ESPN and the Fox channels, but they're playing an away game at a Conference USA team or at a Mountain West Conference team. That game could be aired on CBS Sports Network because CBS Sports Network, is one of the broadcast partners for those conferences. So in general, you might think about, oh, I don't need a package that carries CBS Sports Network because I'm not really interested in the conferences that it's partnered with. But if there's an away game for a team that you are interested in, you just need to be aware that maybe there might be one game that they play that would be aired on that channel. Now, one thing I want to talk about is some resources that are available on my website. The first is I have basically a college football channel input spreadsheet, and you can see kind of a picture of it on your screen. I mean, it's a little small, but this is basically an Excel document where you can put in whatever channels you're looking for, and it'll return all the options that carry those channels, including identifying the cheapest available option. So there'll be links to download the actual zip file, which you would then unzip, and then you'll have an Excel file. Or also there'll be links to just a PDF file if you just want to use this as like a base reference chart as well. They'll be in the description of the video below. Also, I have another kind of version of a chart. This is just a streaming service, a college football network chart. And so this is just, again, another document you can use which has all the services now listed vertically. And it just has all the channels going down the left side, and it basically says like, do they carry it, yes or no, and which packages carry it, which for each of the different channels. So this is just another again reference you can use to help identify which services have which channels and help you make the most informed decision. And again, there'll be a link to download this just as a PDF file in the description of this video. Now for bowl season, coming up at the end of the regular season, every postseason game is going to be on an ESPN network, whether that's ESPN or ESPN2 or ABC, except for the following 3 games. The Arizona Bowl, which unfortunately last year did not happen, but is scheduled to be broadcast by the Barstool Sports Network. The Sun Bowl, which is broadcast by CBS, and the Holiday Bowl, which will be broadcast by Fox. So everything else is on ESPN, ESPN2, or ABC. And I'll have a full bowl schedule available as soon as the games are announced in early December. And again, it'll be just like a nice chart where it's got all the bowl games and then shows which of the for the different services, which of them will carry those games and on which packages and everything. One other thing to be aware of too is that most of the college football playoff and New Year's 6 bowl games have alternate views available via ESPN3. So they have they have Skycam or All 22 or so on or so forth. So the reason I mention that is because once it gets down to the very end of bowl season, people think about canceling their streaming packages. And if you do that, just be aware that you can still watch, pretty much all the college football playoff and New Year's 6 games if you have ESPN3 access via your internet service provider. Now, here are my personal rankings of the services. I've already talked in detail kind of about each one and what makes, what types of fans that each would be best for or worst for, and the positive and negatives of each. So these rankings should be pretty self-explanatory. The one thing that I'll just mention is if you already want to subscribe to Disney Plus and ESPN Plus and or the regular Hulu, then swapping out Hulu and YouTube TV makes total sense because the price with subscribing to YouTube TV and then ordering those services separately, even if you can bundle them, is going to be significantly more than just going with Hulu Live that already includes those services as well. So in that case, I get it's totally understandable to put, say, Hulu at number 1 and switch and move YouTube TV to number 2. Other than that, I just have FuboTV ranked so low just because its base package doesn't include ESPNU or ESPN News. And also, if you're in an RSN network, you're going to add an extra $6 onto the cost of the service. So you could be up, even with getting the base channels and an RSN, you're already at $86 a month, which is over $20 more per month than YouTube TV. And yes, that would include 4K content and 10 simultaneous streams. But even if you paid $20 for the YouTube TV, 4K content and unlimited streams add-on, you're still basically at virtually the same price. So I guess you could say FuboTV might be better then because that's including Pac-12 Network, but I have it so low mainly because of the pricing structure of it. Now, one last thing I do want to mention is about downloading and saving games. So because most of the DVRs only allow you to keep events for up to 9 months, say unlike a traditional cable or satellite DVR where you could just keep stuff on there for as long as you're an active subscriber, you might be interested in wanting to download or save games, onto your computer so that you can watch replays of them, like that great win over your rival, whatever, in the spring when you're bored, or next summer, or the following summer, or the summer after that. So I have a bunch of videos, on this channel showing you how to download /save /record games from websites like, WatchESPN.com and Fox.com. Using programs such as Streamlink and YouTube DL. And you can record live events as they're happening, or the much better way that I like to do is to download and save the replays of the events after the fact. Also note you can do this with ESPN Plus as well. I generally, with ESPN Plus, I usually only use it for replays. But you can use Streamlink, you could use YouTube PL to go in and grab a replay of an event, and then you have it on your computer. You can keep it for as long as you want. So check out those videos on my channel. I've got various playlists, one for Streamlink, one for YouTube DL, and I also have updated videos for fall 2022 that were just done a couple days ago, showing you how to download and save live events and replays of events on both ESPN and Fox channels. So that wraps it up for this 2022 college football guide to cord cutting. Thank you for those that stuck through this all the way until the end. I know this went a lot longer than I guess I originally anticipated when I designed it, but try to be as thorough and as detailed as possible, just so I can give as much information out there to those that are looking to cut the cord and watch as many college football games as you want to. If you have questions or comments, feel free to leave a comment on this video, of course, or you can reach me via email. Also, the address for my website where the website version of this guide is posted, in addition to a link to a PDF version of it, is posted as well. I also have the DVR guide up there on the website as well that you can check out. Otherwise, I can't wait for the college football season to get started.